is not a labor issue. This is an American issue. Unionization and collective bargaining are part of the American way that we won at Blair Mountain in 1921. The governor of Wisconsin should be recalled. We're here to stand with the unions in Wisconsin and ask the world, which side are you on?
One day more. People, let me tell you what we're fighting for. We're fighting for our future, don't you understand? We don't need your pity, we just need your helping hand. How long?
One day more.
How long?
One day more.
Breaks my heart what's happening in Ohio. Unfortunately, there's a national agenda out there right now. It's a national agenda, an assault on workers, and an assault to rip the heart out of the middle class, and an orchestrated effort to create a permanent low-wage society, sisters and brothers. And the epicenter of this movement is in Wisconsin and Ohio. In Ohio, and I'm hoping that Governor Kasich will be able to hear you all from here. In Ohio, Governor Kasich says the problem with our economy is that bus drivers, police officers, firefighters, nurses, highway workers, every public sector that's out there delivering essential services, the governor's saying that's what's wrong with the economy. Is he right? No! Sisters and brothers, what's happened to this country, every state in this great nation, in the Buckeye State, is we've sold out our workforce. We've sold out our working middle class to the lowest bidder. Countries that pay poverty wages. And as a result, we've lost our industrial sector. As a result, we've lost businesses that pay taxes. As a result, we've lost our working middle class that pays taxes, spends money in our communities. And we're in for the fight of our lives. 365,000 collective bargaining public employees in Ohio. And Senate Bill 5 would take us back to the day before 1983 of collective begging. And I can tell you this, sisters and brothers, too many have come before me, have fought, some with their lives, for workers' rights, for prevailing wage, for union shop, for labor law, and by God, we will not let this generation shame that generation that brought those changes. If they're successful with taking away the rights of public employees in Ohio, they're coming after prevailing wage. They've said so. We know if they're successful with Senate Bill 5, they're going to move right to work, strip us of further labor laws. They've said so. So let me ask you this. Can we say yes to union? Yeah! Can we say yes to workers? Yeah! Can we say yes to collective bargaining? Yeah! Can we say yes to prevailing wage? Yeah! Can we say yes to labor law? Yeah!
The president of the nurses in Wisconsin. She said that every Saturday in Madison there are over 100,000 people. You don't have to beg them to come. They're fired up. All they got to do is get an email and they jump in their car and they go to the next rally. They are fighting as hard as they can. And I want those people in Wisconsin to hear us today. I want Governor Walker and Governor Kasich in Ohio and the rest of them to hear us today. I'm a teacher, as he said, and I want to say to Governor Walker, you need to read your history book. This is a democracy we live in. Our fathers and our forefathers have fought and died for it, and we're not going to give it up. Make no mistake, that's what this is about. They want to diminish the middle class. They want to bust the unions, and that's how they can do it. They don't want just part of your money. They want all of your money. So we need to tell Governor Walker and the rest of them that we are not going to have our voice silenced. No. It has not been silenced before, and we are not going to allow this to happen again. I'm going to take this as a teachable moment. Your vote has consequences. How you vote makes a difference in your lives.
Now, what it took to bring us all together was one big dirty governor in Wisconsin and 18 dirty senators that went along with him. They staged a sneak attack on working people in Wisconsin. AFSCME members in Wisconsin are already engaged in the next stage of this fight with full support of all AFSCME members across this country. We are not standing on our own in this fight. All of us in the House of Labor have pulled together. That means union and our non-union friends who recognize the problem. The next fight is a strong recall effort in Wisconsin aimed at the senators and have already lost the respect of the people that they were elected to serve.
In 1921, 10,000 coal miners charged up the slopes of Blair Mountain amidst the heavy fire of machine guns. This battle was a culmination of a generation of struggle among coal miners to unionize and gain the basic right to collectively bargain. They are fighting against a system of exploitation and oppression maintained by coal operators through the use of violence, intimidation, and at times murder. After 5 days of heavy fighting, federal troops were called in to quell the conflict. And I can tell you it wasn't for the reason that the history books tell you. The history books say the miners lost Blair Mountain, but the history books are wrong. I've been up on Blair Mountain. I found the artifacts, and I'm here to tell you the miners were all over that ridge line. They were swarming the co-operator thugs, and they had already broken through once. The co-operators didn't frantically call in federal troops because they were winning. They called them in because they were getting whooped by the miners. The miners who came through these struggles and who formed a strong union culture were the same ones who in the 1930s through to today have migrated out of Central Appalachia, bringing their hardcore union solidarity with them to the factories in Detroit, steel foundries in Pittsburgh, and the mills of Ohio. The heritage of Blair Mountain and the struggles in Central Appalachia is the heritage of all union workers. Although the battle at the time received coverage in all the nation's papers, today has been largely forgotten. Worse yet, the co-operators are now attempting to blast the most significant labor heritage landmark in the U.S. to smithereens. The coal barons say it's about jobs, but if you believe that, Scott Walker has a bill he'd like to sell you. We as workers and community members face complex challenges in today's world. In Wisconsin and other places, collective bargaining, the very heart of unionism, is being directly attacked. This is one of the primary rights that the miners were fighting for at Blair Mountain. And if we don't stand together, all the hard-won gains over the last century are just going to be swept away. Blair Mountain is a place where new solidarity can be built for the 21st century. It's a place where old divisions and fractures can be overcome, and where we can come together to present a united front against the well-funded attacks of corporate-backed groups and right-wing politicians on working families and unions.
You know, the last time I was here, I kind of reflected on what I had to say, and it appears I owe an apology to some folks. You see, I related Walker, I related Kasich, and I related Daniels to prostitutes. Now, I don't owe them an apology. It's clear that I owe prostitutes an apology because they're a heck of a lot better than any of them fools. You know, when this fight started a month ago, something just didn't smell right. It was kind of like a canary in a coal mine. We just knew something wasn't right. They were trying to cry it was about the deficits. Well, I tell you what, that crook came out of the closet last week and he let us know that it was not about the deficits. This is about crushing unions. This is about crushing working class families and doing everything they can to grab power. And we're not going to stand for it, not one more day. But in times of crisis, like when the robber barons were trying to crush our working families like they are now, we stood up, we fought back, and we formed labor unions to finally give us a voice.
That's right.
My friends, history is calling. It is knocking at our door. Are we going to answer the call to history and fight back? It is time to organize. It is time to unite. It is time to get everybody involved. It doesn't matter whether you're union. It doesn't matter whether you're a lawyer, a doctor. It does not matter who you are, because this fight is everybody's fight.
For the last 40 years, the working class has been under attack in this country. But they don't do it wholesale. They do it piecemeal. They try to get us to seem like we got to be reasonable. They say, "Oh, compromise. Don't take a wage increase this year. This year we're going to cut the pensions of the lowest class workers. Next year we're going to take the vacations away." 40 years ago, what they called moderate, what they called center, today they're calling it socialism. They've shifted the center to so far to the right that the working class is not even at the bargaining table. We're not even given a seat at the table. Woo! What we need to do, though, is stand up. We're going to shift that center back, and we're not going to do it by sitting around. Now, I know what all of you guys are going to do on November 4th, right? You're going to pull that lever. You're going to go out and you're going to vote. But what are you going to do on November 5th? What are you going to do on November 6th? What are you going to do on November 7th? Organize! That's right. Yeah! So I'm going to do a little call and response here. When I say, when the workers of the world are under attack, you say, what are we going to do? Stand up, fight back. When the workers of the world are under attack, what are we going to do? When the workers of Wisconsin are under attack, what are we going to do? Stand up, fight back! When the workers of this state are under attack, what are we going to do? Stand up, fight back!
I just got off the phone before I got here with the Secretary of State of Wisconsin. His name is Doug Lavalette. And he has blood here in the state of West Virginia. And I asked him, I said, what's it like? And he says, well, Jesse, he says, I'm looking out of my window from my office, and I see about 30,000 people. Yeah! I said, that's amazing. I said, that's amazing. He says, oh, well, there's much more than that. He said, that's all I can see right now. He said, you know what the biggest sign I can see outside my window right now? I said, no, what? He said, fight to save Blair Mountain. Yeah! And he said that I'm looking right here on my desk, and he says I have a little thing that says keepers of the mountain, and if you don't love them, leave them. The workers are you. The workers are all of us. The workers are the vast majority of people in this country. And guess who's getting dumped on? Guess who's getting their rights taken away from them? Guess who's getting their bargaining rights taken away from them? Because it's not just Wisconsin, and it's not just Ohio. It's happening all across this country. Do you know what happened in Michigan? They're passing something in Michigan that not only strips you away from collective bargaining rights, but the governor will have the power because of the fear of the economy to go in and say, take a city like Detroit that is in shambles and just take it away and fire the mayor and fire the city council, who are duly elected representatives. They're duly elected representatives, and take away the rights for collective bargaining as well, and the school systems. All of it is up for grabs for the greedy rich that are running this country and running our media and running us, the people of this country, into the ground.